And we're back. It's your boy, Edwardo Jackson, CEO, founder, creator of the great CinemaDraft game, where daily fantasy sports meets the movies. And it is my pleasure to bring to the podcast today someone I've known since grade school, longtime friend, known her since Seattle, Washington. Among her many talents as a singer and marketing consultant, she's also on the verge of signing. We're almost there. On the verge of signing with CinemaDraft as our community manager. Give it up for Ife Thomas.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, welcome. Glad to have you on the show and soon to be on board. No jinx. Yeah. All right. So our Andy Cohen inspired Watch What Happens lifestyle drinking game word tonight shall be the word strange.
I love
every
it.
time you hear one say that word, take a sip. What you're sipping, because tonight's pod will end up covering our favorite Eddie Murphy movies, and I think a particular favorite of ours, co-starring Grace Jones, just might be discussed.
Absolutely.
Strange. It's you, girl. You, girl.
Strange girl.
Yes. All right. Well, as I've said recently, with every guest who's come on the pod, the social contract's on fire. Shit's going down. It's crazy. People, there's mental and political chaos in the streets. I don't even know what's good anymore. So tell me something good, Ife. My soul needs it.
What's good with me and what's good in general is that longevity is alive and well in my family. My grandfather turned 100 years old this year.
Oh, wow.
My last living grandparent. And yes, strange. He is lucid. He's alive. He's well. We talk almost every day. He knows me. He's still the same fun, wonderful hero that I grew up with. And that is good news, that you can make it to 100 in this world and still have your light and shine that light. So yes, that's the good news on my end.
And I bet he's 100 probably doesn't even look a day over 89, huh?
And absolutely, because black don't crack. He's looking like a smooth 80.
There you go. A smooth 80. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, you are on the show with no segue, so we're moving on into one of my favorite segments, and that is what we're watching. Yes, love you a good air horn. All right, so I'm going to share my screen so I may share with you exactly what I'm watching.
Okay.
And one of the things I am watching is Power Book 2 Ghost. Are you familiar?
I am familiar. I'm not a hardcore fan. I got into Power, the original Power, for a while. I think I did maybe one season or so, and it just, for personal reasons, I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't watch it anymore. But it's good. I get why everybody likes it. And yeah, this looks like, I heard it's good. I heard the first episode was with the 1 or 2 episodes have gone up already, or is it a whole season that's gone up?
No, I think I agree some feedback on your end. Sorry about that. I think there's only been 3 episods, I think.
Okay.
And it's already been renewed for a second season. So
I saw that today. I saw that. Yeah, it's very popular. I mean, listen, the following of this franchise is huge. And she looks fierce. I love that.
Yeah, she's killing too.
Yeah.
And it's a good cast. Some people might cynically think that, all right, so they're doing this brand extension. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but towards the end of the original 6-season Power run, they teased that there was going to be an extended Power universe, and it wasn't just going to be, Power Book 2 Ghost. It was going to be 4 sequels. They're on some Avatar shit. They're talking about Power Book 2 Ghost, following Tariq the son in his, running around college. Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, which I think is kind of like a prequel back to the days of how, I guess, Ghost became Ghost or dealt with Kane or whatever. Power Book 4 follows Tommy's exploits because he took off at the end.
All right.
On his own. And then Power Book 5, Lorenz Tate up in the governor's mansion. Yo.
What? Nah, I watch that. I'm a Lorenz Tate fan, honey. So yes, I'm here for that.
Well,
so no, this is really smart. This whole franchise, I think, is genius. I'm not a 50 Cent fan, but this was a good move on his end. This was a good look.
Well, I will say that, and actually, I was kind of shocked to read in the article today that this whole Power Extended universe is kind of 50's idea. Like, I know 50 was an executive producer on this. I think he kind of had like the kernel of the idea, partnered up with Courtney A. Kemp from The Good Wife and a bunch of other shows, accomplished writer, to kind of create this stuff. And what I found kind of interesting, besides the fact that he kind of came up with this idea of the whole Power Extended universe, is not only is the way they're going about it is really smart. I mean, they haven't lost any of the kind of verve or speed plotting that Power was really kind of known for. I mean, it's always just on the edge of camp, but not quite. Like, everyone, they're doing some really ridiculous shit, but they do it with a very straight face, very serious stakes. No one's like kind of cheesing or winking at the camera at all. They're doing it all for real, and you kind of buy it. And Mary J. Blige is excellent in this too.
Is she? Okay, good. Because Mary's really been doing better with her acting, and
Mary's good. I give it up to now. I know she got nominated, I think, for Mudbone. I personally didn't like Mudbone that much, but
I didn't see Mudbone, but I saw her in what's my show? The Umbrella Academy. She was in the Umbrella Academy, which I love. Not this season, but last season, and she was good. She was fine. She was okay.
Yeah, and actually, a friend of mine, my pop cultural tether, KSK, who has also been on this pod, she said, when I told her that Mary J. Blige is in this, she's like, "What? She's in this?" And I'm like, "I told you to be watching this." She's like, "Yeah, but I'm afraid if it gets too popular, she won't make any more music." I'm like, "You know what? Got a good point." So,
she will. She'll do music.
I hope so. What was the last kind of real album she did? The London Sessions or something?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't listened to an MJB full record in a long time. But I still love her as an artist. She's still amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's great in this role as the matriarch of this crime family. It's great. So that's one thing I'm watching. And then one last thing, Method Man. Got to shout out Method Man. He plays a lawyer in this.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, his diction is perfect. His diction's fine, but he still has that growly Staten Island Method Man, edge to it. It's great. Davis McLean, he plays a gruff, high-priced, bit of a fame whore type lawyer, and it's just it's beautiful to see. I love to see how he's kind of grown into this kind of actor thing. He's legit. He's good. I liked him in The Wire, but he's like legit in this. So I'm very excited to do with his character for real.
Oh, that's cool.
Along with How High.
Oh yeah, I should hope so.
Okay, so that's one thing I'm watching. Other thing I'm watching, it's Pen 15. Are you familiar with Pen 15?
Oh, I just added this to my list on Hulu like yesterday. It was either last night or this morning, because I just saw another tweet. Actually, Seth Rogen tweeted about this show, and I was like, "What is this Pen 15?" And then somebody else that I follow on Twitter, who's on my show, this fabulous show called The Grapevine, he tweeted about Pen 15 too, and he was just like, "Pen 15 is amazing." And I'm like, "What is this Pen 15?" So I added it to my list.
Well, when you see what does Pen 15 look like right here when you look at it?
It looks like a high school something with.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant the actual title. What does that look like?
I don't know what.
It's penis. It's like a 7th grade joke for penis.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even catch that. Yes, you're right.
Well, so the basic conceit behind this is that you get these two early 30s, millennials, whatever, Anna Konkle, Maya Erskine. They play 7th grade versions of themselves back in the aughts. So you see all the great AOL chat rooms and the weird colors and all the social awkwardness of them reliving their middle school years, and they're acting with all other child actors, but they're their grown selves. But breasts down, braces on. I mean, it is a sight to see, and they are such good actors. They really sell that they are 13.
I heard. Yeah, I heard.
Really good. Really.
So what is there like a supernatural bend to this? Like, how are they able to go back and do that?
No, it's just suspension of disbelief. It's just, this is reality. We're back in 2000, 2001 or whatever. 2000. I think they probably said like 2002 or something like that. We're back in the early aughts, and they're just, these grown ass women, supposedly being 7th grade girls. It's great.
That is funny. And you buy it, like it works?
And look, I thought it'd be a one-note joke for a while, kind of like Ted Lasso, and I could go off in a tangent on Ted Lasso too. But it's a lot deeper than that. Like, for example, in the season 2 premiere, is that they dump them all at once, or at least the first half of the second season. There's like 7 episodes of it already out on Hulu, and I watched the first episode of the second season, and there's like a really kind of witty, sly commentary on slut shaming back in the aughts, back when and especially in middle school, when the littlest stupid thing could get you a reputation, and it kind of follows you around like forever. I know that we went to school with that. In retrospect, look back and like, oh wow, she was slut shamed. That's not cool. Like, did I participate?
Yeah, exactly.
Was I toxic? It makes you kind of re-examine that stuff a little bit. And they had a really kind of clever episode that kind of when to slut shaming without totally beating you over the head with it from a very dumb 7th grade point of view. I totally buy it. I love it. They're great.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to watch this. Of course, I have 2 other series that are going to come before this.
Okay.
On my list, but I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Oh my god, yeah. So Pen 15, I highly recommend it, and also Ted Lasso. Quick check-in with Ted Lasso. I love it. It's awesome. It's so positive and witty and fun. Definitely check out Ted Lasso if you get a chance. That is on Apple TV Plus. They basically took a commercial character and tried to build a TV series out of it. Struggle a little bit early on. You got to plow through the first 3 episodes. They're only half hour each. But once you get to the 4th episode, it really sings. It's excellent.
Is it funny? Is it smart? It looks like an SNL skit.
Exactly. It's essentially an SNL character come to life, but they really worked to add some layers to this guy. I mean, he is kind of like this doofus, happy-go-lucky, super optimistic coach, but he's also more than that. And the show ends up showing like little layers he's got. He's going through a divorce. He's this American American football coach who goes over and takes over as the manager of an English football squad, so like a soccer squad, and he's kind of at odds. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. But he's kind of at odds with the owner. This woman who a high net worth individual who recently got divorced from her husband and won the football team in the divorce. And so she just wants to run into the ground as like a fuck you to her ex. And Ted, he's there thinking, I'm on a real job. I don't know why they hired an American football coach to coach English Premier League soccer, but I'm here. And so he looks like this the entire time. Optimistic, sunny, weird, kind of groovy, sell it porn stash. It's great.
It's definitely a porn stash.
It's fun, and they've got a great supporting cast, and the creatives behind this are really top notch. Bill Lawrence from Scrubs and a bunch of shows behind this. Also, God, I hate the way they've got this set up. I can't get back to my annoying. Anyways,
so is it funny like The Office funny, like nuanced funny, or is it like sitcom funny, or what's the pace of it?
It's not slapsticky, so it's more like The Office funny. But it's like, but once you really know the characters, it really grows on you. It's really funny. It's also heartwarming too. It's like one of the more positive but not too saccharine shows that's out there. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, Ted Lasso. And that's what I'm watching. So Ife, what are you watching?
Well, EJ, I am watching 2 shows right now that I love. I'm watching is this season 3? I believe it's season 3 of The Boys on Amazon Prime, which continues to blow my mind because they just reach new levels of craziness every episode. There's at least one crazy thing that happens. As if characters aren't crazy enough. Yes, oh, absolutely, I'm caught up.
Getting laser my fucking tits.
Wasn't that crazy? Their whole sex scene was bananas. I was like, this show is so crazy. But I love it. It's just so The Boys, for me, it's a wild ride. It's fun. It's very raw. It's diverse. And diverse in different ways, in uncommon ways, not just quote unquote racially diverse, but it's diverse in different ways. It touches on different things. And they really have characters here that you love to hate.
Yeah.
And they're fun to watch because usually, it drives me crazy because I'm always yelling at the screen and cursing at them. I'm like, oh, I can't stand her. Oh, she's a bitch. Oh, like, and when you are engaged in a show like that, that means they're doing their job.
Yeah, we're invested. Yeah.
And I love this take, this twisted, dark take on the superhero trope. And kind of this guy who plays this actor, I looked him up the other day because I was trying to figure out what his name. I was like, who is this guy?
Anthony.
Excellent. I mean, he plays that character. I don't know how he plays that role. Some of the crazy stuff that he did, the obsession with the milk. The breast milk is just gross and crazy. I mean, just stuff like that. Like this show throws little things in there that are just crazy. You know, it's just like, but it seems to work. I don't know, but I love it. I'm watching The Boys. My buddy Laz, who I haven't seen in a long time, but he and I are cool.
You know, I knew of him from you. Sorry, didn't we go to like a screening or something once in LA, and then we came out, and then like you saw.
I met him through my friend Crescent, who lives in LA, who was friends with him.
I know Crescent.
I met him through Crescent. That was Crescent's homie, and she introduced me. But he's just a cool dude. Cubano, you know, we're Panamanian. He's Cuban, so I'm like, okay. But anyway, so yeah, just I'm happy with the show because, like I said, for the reasons I named, and also it's something different. I love when shows really come and they're fearless. This show feels very fearless. They take chances. They're not risk averse. That's for damn sure. I mean, every episode they're doing something that you can't watch on traditional TV. ABC, NBC, and CBS aren't going to air this show. You know what I mean? So I just think it's a wild ride, and it's just really fun. I like it.
Yeah, I love.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing.
Watching that because now I know someone I can talk to you about this because I don't know too many people in real life I can talk to you about The Boys, but it's great. I love it.
Really? Oh my gosh!
I binged that sucker the first season.
Like, so did I. Absolutely.
Out, but last year when it came out, I knocked it out in a weekend. Oh
yeah, me too, for sure. So that's the first thing I'm watching.
Okay.
The second thing is my beloved Lovecraft Country.
Really?
Okay. Is everything. It is my favorite show right now because Grace and Frankie is done, and a few of my other shows that I love, Sex Education is done.
I love Grace and Frankie. Are you an 80-year-old Panamanian woman?
Yes, and damn it, I love it. I love Grace and Frankie. But Lovecraft Country, what can I say? There's a lot I can say. The first thing is, first of all, the only reason that I just immediately had to watch this was because Jordan Peele is attached to it. I am not a horror girl. Let me just say this off the top. Disclaimer. I do not like horror. I don't like being scared. I don't like any of that. But Jordan Peele is the only person that has gotten me to break through my horror thing, my little issues with that genre, and to watch his movies. So everything Jordan's done, I've watched, which is basically his two movies, right? Get Out and then Us, which were both crazy and freaky and creepy. But when I first read that this was coming and heard about it, I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I hadn't read the book. I didn't know the history of H.P. Lovecraft. Is his name H.P. Lovecraft? I think is the original, who was very racist and all this crazy stuff. But so I haven't read this book, but I've been blown away since day one. First episode. I mean, the cast is outstanding. Jonathan Majors is killing. Everyone's killing. Period. The cast is A1. The great Michael K. Williams. And it's just, I love seeing Black people in science fiction. That's just where we're at right now. And Jordan helped usher this in. You know, I mean, we need to be across every genre because we're everywhere. We're a part of humanity, you know. But of course, Hollywood's late to catching up to that. And so right now, Jordan, I think, has ushered in his success, has ushered in this new era, which I'm hoping will stay. This new era of what is it called? What's the documentary? I'm sure you've seen it. The film noir or something noir, Black horror noir, or whatever it's called.
I have not.
Noir. There's a documentary specifically about the history of Black noir. It's called, what is it called? Film noir, noir horror. There's a term for it.
Okay.
That describes Black horror is basically what it is. And so the history of that and blah, blah, blah. But I just love seeing, because to me, this isn't pure, I guess it is pure horror. I don't know. It feels more science. It feels a little science fiction-y to me too. I feel like I don't know. It's like mystery, adventure, and horror all mixed together. And then of course, the thing with this particular project is the real monsters, of course, is the racism. The real monsters are the white people in the Midwest. Aren't they in the Midwest or are they in the South? I thought they were in the Midwest.
I think they're in the Midwest.
I think they're in the Midwest. I think they're in like Ohio or I don't know exactly where they are, but I thought they were in the Midwest. But anyway,
and the real what's killing on screen, theoretically where, but what really kills is Journey Smollett, as Kurt would call her, Journey Smollett's wardrobe, her costuming.
Oh, fabulous.
Just incredible. Well,
incredible.
I mean, I'm glad you gave such a full-throated defense of Lovecraft Country. We've actually discussed Lovecraft Country on this show in previous weeks, and I tapped out. I had to tap out. I was watching Draft Mom. We gave it episodes, but because it was here's the reason why I tapped out. Obviously, well produced, very well done, all sorts of stuff. The game money, we ran with it, and the people who are guiding at the top, J.J. Abrams, whatever, they're overpowering whatever story that Misha Green wants to tell. Okay, great. Right. But my thing is that, so one, I'm not much of a horror guy. I am kind of sci-fi, but the first episode was cool. The second episode really almost threw me out of it, because now we're into this whole thing where, all right, so you got the secret society, you got some sort of magic going on. Okay, cool. But what are the rules of this world? I hate when someone sets up anything that's got magical properties, but without explaining the freaking rules. Because then it seems like you can say a spell and you're out of any jam. It makes no sense. That's why I never got into Harry Potter. I didn't read the books, so when I saw the movies and I saw the first 3.5 movies, because I think I walked out of the fourth one, I was like, I don't need to do this. I'm done. I explain the rules to me, that I'm out. Star Wars, the Force. You can move shit with your hand, your mind, or whatever. It can do this, but you can't do that. Okay, we got some rules. It seemed like they were making stuff up as they went along. The third episode was better than the second episode to me, but still, I was like, this is too much. It was a different episode every week, and I personally don't like anthologies, like where you're gonna have like Black Mirror, for example. I don't watch Black Mirror. I
loved Black Mirror. Black Mirror was so good.
No, it's good. I know I'm missing out. I just don't like doing anthologies because it takes so much mental energy, at least for me, to invest in new characters every time and watch them of creating believable, investable enough characters in however many minutes they have, and then to lose. I don't. And
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that perspective of the anthology piece. But it may come across like that, but I don't consider this an anthology. I think what they're just doing is they're just they're fleshing out each character a little more. So we learn more about the characters. They each kind of get their own little episode. That's all it is. It's not taken away from the main story. We're just learning more about who each of them are and what they're like. Her in the middle. Go back. Yeah. How do you pronounce her name?
Ingenue.
That's how you pronounce her name. Oh, that's a great name. I didn't know how to pronounce it. I've seen it in print, but she is fabulous, and her episode is this week, where she's got a whole thing about her, and that ties to him. And I heard he might be coming back. Courtney Vance's character. Yes.
Back from the dead.
I'm so into it.
What are the rules?
The rules are. I can tell you.
I'm being facetious. I don't want to know the rules. I'm already out. I'm out.
Oh, Ed. Really?
Look, one thing you will learn as our community manager in this wonderful CinemaDraft community we are building with your help soon is that there is so much good stuff to watch every week. I have a backlog of good stuff I want to watch, because
I know, me too. I do too.
We find so many new shows or movies, whatever, each week. I mean, it's hard to see them all. So and I wanted to love Lovecraft. I was very excited about it. Didn't quite live up to my expectations, what have you. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad we've got this kind of diversity, showing this part of the, African diaspora in action. We are more than one thing, and that's great. But it's just, y'all just have to enjoy it without me, I guess.
Oh, shoot.
That's cool.
All right.
Let's move on to our main. Did we do both your shows? Yeah, we did both your shows you're watching. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did both. Those are what I'm currently watching. I have to add a couple things to the list, though.
Okay.
I'm adding Cobra Kai, finally.
You're in for a treat. That's
I keep hearing. What is so good about Cobra Kai?
Child, even when it was announced, it sounded like a joke and it wouldn't work, right?
It sounded cheesy to me.
But I'm telling you, these guys, not only do they revere the original IP, but the fact that I'm so excited about Cobra Kai. It's just so well done. You very rarely see. It's not even like a reboot. It's an extension of that universe. It's coming to these guys 20, 30 years later, whatever.
Right.
He's like a broke down, this is like mechanic or handyman or whatever to an extent, who's kind of like down his luck. Whereas Danny LaRusso is now a super successful car dealer in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley, right? He's got like billboards everywhere, and he uses like this corny little "I'm gonna hiya the prices" or whatever. He basically that one moment in their lives totally reversed their fortunes. Johnny went from cool, rich, successful kid to down his luck, kind of broke, and then Dan LaRusso is now the man, and it's just great. And then you see their family. He's got like a daughter and a son who are both a little bit kind of into karate, maybe not. And he's got, I mean, it's really well done, and like the way that that makes you question: is Danny actually the bad guy in this situation now?
Really?
Is Danny the asshole? Yeah, no, seriously. So I mean, because it mostly follows. I mean, it's a bit on a 2-track. It kind of treats both their stories equally. Whereas in the Karate Kid, it was Danny LaRusso's story, but no, in Cobra Kai, it's both their stories, and you do kind of sympathize more with Johnny because of how life's treated him. Because he's kind of stuck in the past too. He's a bit anachronistic. Doesn't really have has a flip cell phone. It's like modern day. It's not like a flip phone. He still says shit like chicks and babes, and he's very kind of like he's throwback, right? And so he's kind of trying to deal with the modern world, and he ends up restarting the Cobra Kai dojo, kind of to find himself a little bit, but also to kind of inspire some of these students at the local high school that are kind of nerds and outcasts. It's really fun. It's really heartwarming.
Oh my gosh! It's because listen, I love the Karate Kid. I live for the Karate Kid. The first 2 movies, the third one was terrible. But the Karate Kid is everything. It's in my top 20 of 80s movies. 80s movies are my favorite movies. So I'm already emotionally there and connected to Karate Kid. So I love this. And I've heard literally nothing but good things from I've not heard one negative thing about this. Whoopi Goldberg goes on and on about it on The View every day. So I'm like, let me watch this Cobra Kai. So that's up next.
8.7. This is too low. I mean, 64,000 sample size. So they're not all going to agree, but 8.7 is too low. This is easily a 9.5. I mean, everyone loves the show. It's outstanding. I bet if we went episode by episode, they'd be higher scores than this, but it's a great show. I love it.
So I got to go through 3 seasons. Okay. So they're on season 3. Okay.
Yeah. Season 3 hasn't come out yet, but it's
season 2. So just 2 seasons.
Yeah. 2 seasons, 10 episodes each, half hour episodes. So you're good.
Oh yeah. I can knock that out in the weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Cobra Kai, baby. All right.
All right.
Yes. So to our topic of this podcast today, it is our top 5 Eddie Murphy movie.
Hey. Let's go, Eddie. Eddie. I love you, Eddie.
I love you, Eddie. That's right. So the way it works is you name a favorite Eddie Murphy movie. You alternate picks. When someone picks a movie, that movie's out of play. We must, however, take a pause before we go into our Eddie Murphy deep dive and just talk about the elephant in our room. Yes. One of the things that has bound us together as friends over the decades. Yes. And I mean, it is our mutual love and affection for the best, not only the best Eddie Murphy movie, but the best movie of all time.
That's correct.
Not up for debate. Not at all.
Not at all.
Boomerang, the 1992 classic.
Yes.
That I love unequivocally, that we can quote backwards and forwards. I'm going to turn the floor over to you for a second, Ife, and let you wax poetic on why this is your favorite Eddie Murphy movie.
My Boomerang. So, my God, what is there not to like about Boomerang? I mean, first of all, this for me it may have been, when I think back, 92, we were in high school. So I was in high school. So what was that, freshman year?
I thought it was
91, 92.
I saw it.
So this may have been the first Black romantic comedy. Was this the first Black rom-com? Maybe not. Or was it? It was the first one I remember. I'll say it that way.
It was the first one where they spent like a little money on it and looked like sharp, and everyone was like really polishing together that I can remember. Yeah. Yes,
that's the other piece. I'm getting to that. Yes. So the first thing is the romantic comedy piece. This was a Black rom-com. That's essentially in our language today in 2020, but how we would describe this. This was my first time seeing Eddie be so classy and be a leading man in a way that was, like you said, everyone looked fabulous. Everyone was educated. Everyone was smart. Everyone had money. Everyone wasn't in the hood. Everyone wasn't trying to kill each other. All of that drama. Not now. Those, no shade to those kinds of stories. Those stories are important, and you know, the boys in the hood kind of genre is important for that canon.
People who are like millennials or younger who are watching this, you have to keep in mind that in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, all we were getting were a flood of hood flicks.
That's right.
Boys in the Hood, you know, when
right.
big, everyone wanted their own hood flick. New Jack City was also, I think, 91. I mean, that's all a lot of us were drugs in the hood. We had no dimension. So this was a really great palate cleanser at the time.
Absolutely. And then, so that was the first thing. The other thing in this was a classic. Eddie, all of Eddie's movies have, well, not all, but let me say this the right way. Most of Eddie's movies have this beautiful quality of like the comedy that runs through it. So it's like you're watching, there's a specific kind of quality to it that it reminds me of the Keenan Ivory. It reminds me of like the same tone as like I'ma Get You Sucker or Hollywood Shuffle. Like there was this early 80s particular kind of comedy feel to a film where you were taking it seriously, but at the same time, you knew you were watching a comedy. It was like the jokes and the gags and the sketches were all through it. And that's what this is too. It's a rom-com, but it's actually funny, but it's Black people funny. It celebrates Black culture. It's, first of all, the cast is gorgeous. Everyone's beautiful. Everything looks good. I remember one of the early, I forgot what I was listening to or watching, but one of the early critics, I forgot which critic it was, of one of the early reviews of this from the 90s, one of the critics noted, "Oh, where are all the white people in this film?" And I was like, really? Like that really bothered the critic, that there was this world in New York where it was all Black and brown people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was the opposite of what we're used to seeing. But anyway, and then on top of that, look at all the cameos. Eartha Kitt, Chris Rock.
The casting.
I mean, we could go on and on here. I mean, it's just, and then of course, on top of all of that, it's just plain funny. It's just laugh out loud, beat for beat, every scene. Look how glamorous Robin looks. She looks fabulous. Beat for beat funny. And that's the thing that this movie does so well. Not all of Eddie's movies, but this movie did. Oh, that's my favorite, one of my favorite scenes. My favorite scene in the film, I think, is this in here. But what this film does so well is it really balances the comedy with everything else. You are going to laugh in Boomerang. You're going to cry, maybe in a couple places, maybe at the end. It's heartwarming. It has heart. It's urban. It's Black. It's unapologetically Black as fuck. Can we curse on the podcast? Okay.
Yes.
It's Black as fuck. It's funny. And it's just beautiful. It's Black excellence all the way through. The characters. Now, it's not a perfect film. Now, I don't know. I've never looked at it with a critical eye, so I'd have to like Google some of the old reviews to see what people didn't like about it, because I just love it so much. There's nothing wrong with Boomerang to me. So it's just the first film I've seen in a long time where I could watch it over and over, along with my School Days sweatshirt, of course, my favorite Spike Lee movie. But even School Days, I'll watch multiple times, but nothing is like Boomerang to me. I literally I never get tired of it.
Well, amen. And you honestly said pretty much everything I would have said. I would just be kind of, the choir, backing you up. But it's a movie that I literally watch at least once every 9 to 12 months on general principle.
A couple times a year.
Yeah, just to keep my soul alive, just because I don't ever like forget, the best stuff. I just need that dope. I mean, Strange is part of my personal cultural lexicon, and it has been since I saw this fucking movie like 30 something years ago. When I went with my girlfriend Tracy to the theater, I came out to Strange. And Black people know what you're saying. At least Black people of a certain age know what.
Oh yeah.
We're of a certain age now. Sadly, we look fabulous, but we are, we're entering our middles, whatever. But you say to someone, within 10 years of us, Strange, they know exactly what you mean. It's excellent. I love this movie.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Thank you for bringing that up. How could I leave that out? That's the third thing that makes this movie excellent is it's so full of cultural references, Black cultural references. Yeah, oh yeah, a lot of my slang comes from this, from The Last Dragon, from, but that's a Black thing. We kind of really take our movies to heart and they become a part of our culture, a part of our lexicon, or it used to be that way. I don't know if it's that way as much now, maybe a little, but.
I think actually now, I think we get more of it from music and musicians, I would say.
Or maybe TV now, because TV's become so much more compelling, I mean, half the TV shows we watch are like little movies, really. I mean, Lovecraft is a great example of that. J.J. Abrams, I think, has brought a real movie feel to that, even though you're not watching it. But anyway, so Boomerang is everything.
It is everything.
All of you listening to watch it, if you haven't already, go watch it, find it, play it, get your life, enjoy. You're welcome.
And I'm sure many of them have, because we actually did a Boomerang live tweet for some of the friends in the Brancy Slack. Shout out to the Brancy Slackers who have been guests on the pod as well. We did a live tweet, I think about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it was great. It was great having shout out to our girl Christy. She's I think 28-year-old Brit living over in DC. She'd never seen Boomerang before. She's too young.
Oh wow.
White girl too. So she's young, white, British, first time watching Boomerang. Her comments were gold. It was.
What'd she think? Did she love it?
No, she loved it, but it was funny because she's like, "That's an HR violation. Oh, that's sexual harassment. Oh, well, what's going on here?"
Oh my God, that's
why
so
are they so
funny.
mean to their friends? I mean, she was.
That's so funny. Oh my God, great. That's so funny.
So shout out to you, Christy. Maybe we have to get you on the pod one of these times, Chris. I love a good accent.
Yeah.
I love a good accent. And so one other thing about Boomerang, as you know, there is a forced bit of an extended universe to this Boomerang thing, where there was a TV show that came out. I think it's on Plus. Have you watched
it? I have not seen the TV show. I understand Hallie was a producer or executive producer. I think it's Hallie and Lena Waithe came together to make that happen. I actually have not seen the TV show. I didn't really have an interest in the TV show. Have you seen it? What did you think?
I did. I saw I saw a few episodes before it wasn't like I tapped out. It's just I didn't have BT at the time. So the few episodes I saw were kind of like, random. And then after that, I just couldn't keep up with it. Now that we've got BT, I actually try to look it up on my YouTube TV, but it's not on there. So I think they shifted all those episodes over to BT Plus.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to pay $10 a month to watch that stuff. So I may still seek it out, through other means, but right now, I'm good. It was decent. I liked what they were trying to do. It was essentially the kids. It was like Jacqueline's daughter and Marcus's son. They're not together; they're separately. They're
okay.
In this world, we never see Hallie or Eddie, but in this world, I guess Eddie and Marcus and Angela definitely did get together, had a kid. And their kid is now a hotshot young ad exec, kind of like both of them, and is trying to make his way in Atlanta. And he's got like a really cool core group of friends. One's like a openly laid back bisexual dude. One of them's his best friend throughout from childhood, which happens to be the Jacqueline's daughter person. I mean, it's kind of interesting. So you're seeing Lena Waithe's stamp on it. It wasn't bad. It was kind of good. I just didn't have enough of a sample size.
I don't know if that would work without seeing them. Like, why can't they do cameo? It would ground it more and make it more official to me if Hallie and Robin, and they don't have to be in every episode, but at least cameos or something to tie it together. Otherwise, why call it Boomerang? Just make it a show about young Black people in Atlanta.
Yeah, which I honestly thought,
there's no tie to if there's no tie to the film, it's kind of like, how do we know that's Jacqueline's daughter? We see a picture of Robin. Oh, this is my mom or something.
Pretty much.
Okay. I mean, I have to watch it. I don't want to judge. I haven't watched it, but
yeah. And
I just think if you're going to call it Boomerang, then tie it to the movie. Make it legitimize it by having Eddie pop in every couple episodes. Just even if he's on the phone, even if it's just something to tie it together. Otherwise, it's just a cool show about young Black people in Atlanta.
Back of the truck, BET. Give Eddie whatever he wants. Make a cameo.
Yeah, and have Hallie pop in, and Hallie could be in it, and be she doesn't have to be a main character, but show me something from the movie. Otherwise,
Yvonne?
you're just using the name, you know.
Yvonne, hey girl, don't trust those kids. They got a
Tisha,
plan. What, you might have my weight, my size, doggy style.
doggy style, girl. Woohoo! Yoo-hoo!
Yo, we can do this all night. I'm sorry.
All night. People don't understand that we can literally do this all night.
We could do, you know, and we may just have to do a beat for beat entire Boomerang pod one of these days, just on the low. Just for shits and giggles. It's one of my favorite movies. Also, one of Bill Simmons' favorite movies. And because this is our favorite movie, we are taking it out of contention. This is, you know, it's in the Pantheon. It goes untouched. We must take our 5 picks from other Eddie Murphy movies. So, as always, guests go first. And in the spirit of bonhomie, you take the first pick, Ife. What's your first film?
My first film in my top 5 Eddie Murphy list is Coming to America.
Got to take it off the board, because if you didn't, I would. Way to play the game. Tell us about Coming to America and why you like it so much.
Oh my God. First of all, you know, the sequel will be out in December. And I heard the sequel's dope. I heard it was really good.
Is it going to be out, or is it going to be on streaming?
I think it's going to be full. I don't know. I think they might try
to do a theatrical release.
I hope they, dang it. That's right. I don't know. I'm going to go either way. I'll figure it out. I'll stream it, whatever. I mean, I can't wait to see it. Coming to America is just a classic. Again, out loud. This is now the beauty of Coming to America is it's late 80s, but it's 80s Eddie. It's late 80s Eddie. It's late 80s movie tone. Arsenio's in it with him. It just has that 80s comedy feel. We hadn't gone into the 90s yet. This is like 88. I want to say this was 87 or 80. I want to say it was 88. Maybe 89, 87. It's late 80s. Huh?
Yeah, it looks like it's 80s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so, and it's just beat for beat funny. This was, this was the first time we got to see Eddie do all of these iconic characters, which he does later in other films. But this was him and all of his brilliance getting to really do the characters that, once again,
sexual chocolate.
Exactly. Have become cultural, like, just part of Black culture and just part of how we absorb film and we absorb the lexicon and we absorb all these things. And all this stuff becomes a part of our lexicon and how we relate and how we speak. Also, this was Eddie doing the suave, you know, lead character like he likes to do. He's done that in other films as well that are on my list. But it's good to see him go to Africa or have something that was Africa sort of based, even though Zamunda is a fictional country and it's definitely no Wakanda. But yeah, it was just great to see him touch on that. And the cast was wonderful. And it was just, it had heart. And I love that. Everything that's on my list, all of the movies I've chosen of his in my top 5, all are hilarious, but they all have heart. And Eddie is at his best when he balances comedy with heart. And this is just, again, Black as fuck. This is just with an African touch, you know, which I appreciated. So, and everything about it is just Black excellence. Funny, funny, funny. I don't know if there's one scene that's not funny.
That's the God's honest. And I will say this. The thing, especially in 88, so in 88, we're, you know, late middle school, whatever. It was especially rare back in the 80s to not only see such a display of Black excellence, but see such a display of African excellence. I mean, I don't know about you, but we grew up, I mean, I remember distinctly seeing all those commercials about starving children out in Africa, Sally Struthers begging for just, you know, 30 cents a day, cup of coffee a day, support starving African child. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, we're, you know, Africa's much more than that. It's the birthplace of civilization, for crying out loud. So it was great to see, you know, Africa elevated to just to royalty, literal royalty, to see us reflected at the height of liberal royalty, to show, I mean, and to show all the divisions. You know, we're not a monolith. You know, you can have, you know, rich bougie Black folks and middle class bougie Black folks who are different from bougie, you know, and then also, you know, see the whole spectrum of of our humanity and blackness. It was great, and for it to be so funny, just so funny with all these great performers, so many great lines. Mama call him Clay, I'ma call him Clay.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And Eddie's just on full display of his genius. Full display. Everything that Eddie does well in a film, he does in here.
Yeah. And also
the comedy, the ad-libbing, he can be serious when he needs to. I mean, this wasn't a heavy drama, but there were dramatic moments. But
right. No, and yeah, it's just a great film, and also really, I mean, at least when I was a kid, really made me want to know a little bit more about Africa. It was the side of Africa I wasn't exposed to over here in the States. So, excellent first pick. I'm glad you picked it. I already catered for it, so I'm going to go with another fairly obvious one, and that's going to be, oh man, it's tough. Well, I know you too, so I'm taking this one off the board. I'm going Dreamgirls. Damn it, I'm going Dreamgirls.
Not on my list. No.
All right. Well, then I know your next one already. All right. Well, Dreamgirls, I thought you'd pick because it's got the whole singing aspect to it, and he was nominated for an Oscar, and I honestly should have won that fucking Oscar. But
yeah, he probably should have.
This is just this. I mean, this isn't entirely, say, an Eddie Murphy film per se. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a supporting character in this, but he kills it. He just absolutely kills it. You know, late middle-aged suave, you know, doing his thing out there, you know. I mean, this whole production, I'm biased a little bit because I remember seeing it being invited to like a tape performance. They're still filming it. They invited a bunch of movie critics when I still somehow was able to get on these lists. And we went down to was it the Orpheum or one of those theaters downtown LA, watched Beyonce in real time do a performance on the stage, whatever, and they had a little Kiki in the back, you know, for the press and everything. And I was just really impressed with the whole production and how it looked and the storytelling and the singing. Oh my God, that Dreamgirls soundtrack is incredible. And so this is the type of role which reminds you that Eddie Murphy is a five-tool talent, as they would say in baseball. He can sing, he can act, he can direct too. He did another movie that's probably going to be taken off the board pretty soon. You know, he's got all those talents, and he had a lot of them on display in a role that was largely considered a comeback role for him. And I think an even better part of his performance had nothing to do with the movie. It was outside the movie at the Oscars when they had the camera on him, and he didn't win Best Supporting Oscar, and he was just fucking through. You can see his face; he was just like livid, and he tried to restrain it. That I'll never forget was one of the great all-time Oscar performances because he tried not to lose his shit on national TV. So here's to you, Eddie Murphy. Great performance in Dreamgirls. I loved it. Okay, what's your next film then?
I can't. I loved Eddie's performance in this, but Dreamgirls is the original. I'm very biased about Dreamgirls. I didn't like the movie because I'm a hardcore fan of the original musical.
Okay.
So that's a different story. But Eddie was wonderful in it. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite performance from him though, but I thought he was great in it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your next film?
Number 2 on my list is the great, iconic Raw.
Oh, comedy film. Okay.
Yep. That's my number 2. Yeah. That is my number 2. Where is it?
I know. Raw Eddie. There we go.
What's going on here?
There, Eddie Murphy Raw.
There it is. Now, let me say, I don't even need to explain why this is a classic because it's just one of the greatest concert films of all time.
True.
But here's the thing. There's so many things from this that we all know and are funny and everything. But again, like I said earlier, for me, Eddie is at his best when he balances heart and comedy. And the funniest part of Raw to me, maybe not the funniest, but the most significant part of Raw to me is probably the part no one remembers. I don't know if anyone, I'll say it this way. I've never heard anybody talk about this, but to me it's significant just for my own personal reasons. At the very end of Raw, the last joke Eddie does, he goes out, he's imitating his dad, or is he imitating his mom? I can't remember if his mom. No, it's his dad. He's imitating his dad. And I believe his dad was an alcoholic.
Oh.
there's a part where he's imitating and he's doing this whole thing and he's talking about, but there's just something about the way he's describing actually a very serious thing. He's describing a scene of, I think, when his dad would come home or something, when his dad was having one of his drunk fits or something. And, you know, but if there was just something about the way he imitates his dad and the way he took a very, probably a painful childhood memory, but his talent came through and he did an amazing mimic impression. I don't know. There was just something about that for me, the way that last joke and the way he did that whole thing with his dad and his family. That to me was very just genius and touching and real. And everything before that is hilarious. There's nothing in Raw that's not funny. I mean, everything in Raw, there's some stuff that could be considered controversial, of course, and stereotypical, but that's 80s humor. Most 80s comics from his era, which is the 80s, like late 70s, but mainly the 80s, you know, most of their stuff, everybody that came out of that, which is what we grew up in, most of that stuff was what we would consider today to be politically incorrect.
It was definitely, absolutely.
You know, but Raw is pure funny and pure genius. And it's funny, I'll never forget Eddie said in an interview years ago that when he was talking about this movie, his concert movies, he was like, anytime you see me in a leather suit, he said, I was disconnected. You know, I was not grounded. And I was like, oh, okay. He was talking about how he went.
I mean, he was leathered down with the gloves and everything. I mean, yeah, I feel hot.
Too much leather. Too much leather.
I mean, I feel hot looking at it right now. All right, well, you did not disappoint. That is definitely off my list. So I'm going to go ahead and claim one that before it definitely gets taken up, and it's Harlem Nights, of course. And
yep, that's not in my 5, but it's in my alternative list, my special mention list.
Okay, yeah, Harlem Nights, and well, I kept thinking I was younger when I saw this, but 89. I mean, I guess I was what, 12.
Yeah, that's 8th grade. Yeah,
8th grade. So I just remember my mom took me to see this in the theater, and I remember distinctly leaving her like 12 rows back and sitting up towards the front because I didn't want to be with my mom with this one. I didn't want to be near my mom with this one, and I was just so blown away by how incredibly funny, raunchy, fast, crazy. Just, I mean, it had a little something for everybody. So Raw is something. I mean, Raw is universally beloved for other reasons, but Harlem Nights, I think, definitely has like a cult, a cult standing, maybe.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And I haven't seen Harlem Nights in a while. I need to watch it again.
I mean, I'll do that this weekend. I think people do appreciate, you know, what he, I think people do appreciate what he was able to pull off in Harlem Nights, because I think it was his first directing gig. I'm not sure.
Did he directed? I don't know. I forgot that he directed.
Yeah, he wrote and directed this. If I actually, let me
I forgot about that. Okay,
let me double check. I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed. Yeah, director Eddie Murphy, writer Eddie Murphy.
Oh wow. Okay, so I knew he was just so excited to work with Richard Pryor, his idol. You know.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. What were those reviews? Hold on a second. Okay, 6.1. Okay, because I remember when it came out, like critics savaged it. They didn't know what to do with it. They thought it was
black. This is black humor.
Blackity black.
Yes.
All
Black
the way
American humor, no question.
All the way live, and I loved it. I really appreciated that. And it was just, I mean, another one with a lot of great lines. He shot me in my pinky toe. Every time. Yeah, every time there's like a little bit of orange juice left, I'm like, you just gonna leave a little swallow of orange juice? What? Don't leave a little swallow of orange juice left in the jar. I mean, everyone. Once again, this I think we can definitely give up to Eddie Murphy's, that he had a career-long obsession with making us look our best. These fucking suits. Look at these suits.
Yep. It looks fabulous. Glamour.
Glamorous. Always look clean. Eddie always looked clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a little bit of
Arsenio had to be in there, and
very over the top gangster element. I'm trying. I gotta kill my ass.
Arsenio's so stupid.
So goofy, and that's also another great Hollywood friendship. I'm not sure if they're still cool to this day, but
they are. They're still close. Yeah.
Okay, that's good because it was really cool to see him put his boys, people he liked working with, in his film, especially as he got to the height of his Eddie Murphy-ness. So yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, great film. Good stuff.
Yeah,
the great Danny Aiello. Jasmine looks fabulous when she was young and fine,
and Layla Rashawn is Sunshine.
Yes, classic. That's just black stuff. It's black.
Yes, unapologetic.
Everybody looks beautiful. They look beautiful and glamorous, and
there's that swallow orange juice. Her face about to change. You don't know what he's good for.
I mean, Della made the movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she was definitely a good heat check in that one. She definitely came in, burned it up in time she was there. So that's my third movie, Harlem Nights. What is your fourth one?
No, this is my third.
Oh, sorry, your third. Okay.
My third.
Two? Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's the second one. All
right. We're gonna stay in the 80s, which is my favorite genre, or not genre, my favorite decade of Eddie Murphy films.
Okay.
Number 3 for me is The Golden Child.
God dang it! No! What are you doing?
Yes. The Golden Child is my number 3, man.
Serious?
Come on, The Golden Child. I love it.
To get that one. Oh, Brother Nuncy, why'd you do this to me?
I mean, I want the knife. Come on, that's classic.
Oh, damn. Well
black
played.
Shit. Eddie's just black funny. He just is like.
Well played.
Same as Chris Rock, but
I'm losing my shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so with Eddie Murphy, first of all, that hat. I may have owned that hat just because of this movie.
This poster, I see this poster everywhere. I love this poster.
I need that poster in my house when I get my new place. So again, I'm just gonna keep saying it because it's true. Eddie's at his best. Now we're seeing a little more action Eddie. This is more action adventure Eddie before some of his other films where he shows that too. But in here, we're getting the action adventure Eddie. He's in Asia. He's, but he's still himself, and he still brings that black humor, that Eddie humor. But first of all, I love a good 80s movie with a child, with a kid in the center. And 80s movies were really good for centering kids, which is a whole other podcast. There's tons of movies with some of the great 80s movies that would have young people in it, either teenagers or kids, right?
Right.
So I love the balance of Eddie with the kid. It was basically a buddy film, but he was a kid. And I liked that. And I liked that it was a little Asian kid. And he had the gorgeous Asian woman, who I forgot the actress who played the woman.
Charlotte something. It just came to me. Charlotte.
The love interest. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? Yeah, she was. Oh, I was captivated by her.
Yeah, she was beautiful. She's gorgeous. And Eddie just has a way of
Charlotte
elevating everything with his funny. When he goes into his comedy, into his Eddie moments, he makes everything better. He brings levity. I want the knife. That whole scene was ad-lib. That was not. That. We all know that.
Yep.
But that's the best thing about it is Eddie is going to bring, or at this time in his career, I think it's a little different now, but at this time in his career, he was going to bring that Eddie levity to it, that Eddie touch, that made everything better in the 80s in these films. So yeah, for me, and I grew up, I'm an 80s kid. I grew up on 80s TV, on 80s films, and 80s music. Those are my favorites. They always will be. That was my adolescence. Those are the best to me. And this is one of my favorite 80s movies.
I'm distraught. I'm distraught. I'm not sure if you can see me. I think my camera went down again.
Yeah, the camera went off. I can't see you.
Yeah, I'll fix that at our break. But I am distraught. I'm undone. I just knew you weren't coming for this movie. I thought I could safely pick it with my fourth or fifth pick.
Wasn't gonna happen.
Excellent taste. That's why I fucks with you, Ife. You got great taste. Damn it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's just, it's just great. It's awesome. I don't know what more to say that you already didn't say. I remember being a little scared of this movie only because in 86, I think it's about 10, 11, something like that. And I remember and there are some, well, I wouldn't say horror elements, but the whole that supernatural thing with Charles Dance. Charles Dance, great actor. Most people know him now from Game of Thrones as not Tyrion Lannister's dad. I forget his name. Tywin. There we go. Tywin Lannister. But before that, he's had like extensive stage and film career, and this was like a really good villain part for Charles Dance. And I just remember him scaring me a little bit because he kind of looked like the devil himself when he's doing his little transformation, or his eyes would flash and he'd do his little magical whatever. And he, my brother Numsi. I mean, he's just
yeah.
He's just a great actor and really does play a great villain. So that's all I have to add to the Golden Child. Excellent pick. I'm mad, and I don't say I'm scrambling, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pick. God dang it! All right, I gotta find
your number 4. This is your number 4.
No. So this is actually my third. You're right. I only done 3 because I already crossed off Coming to America because you took that as well.
Yes.
So this is actually my third. Damn it. All right, get together. That's another movie right there, which I won't pick right now. I'm gonna take Dolomite Is My Name.
That was my number 5.
Yes. All right. So not as big a blow as the Golden Child, because my goodness, that really is a coup. Well done. But I am taking it off the board because it is recent, because it is excellent. It is an Eddie Murphy star vehicle. It's Eddie Murphy. I won't say he keeps reinventing himself, but he keeps reinventing ways to stay relevant. And he really did. He really does like make himself not only just the center of this thing, but also kind of like the emotional center. Like, you really gonna feel for Rudy Ray Moore. This guy is like, look, there's no avenue in for me in this movie industry, so I'm gonna make one. I don't care if I got a gut. I don't care if I'm doing, basically softcore porn. I don't care, if no one's gonna give me any money. I'm just gonna hijack locations. I'm gonna, just jerry rig this entire production. I'm gonna get some, untrained actors to come in, play some parts, whatever. I'm gonna be in crazy amounts of debt. All this sounds like the entrepreneur's journey, and all I can say is I relate to it entirely. Entirely. And then, of course,
surrounds himself with an amazing cast
too. I'm sorry?
He surrounds himself with an amazing cast. He's very good at that.
Divine Joy Randolph, it showcased her. So grateful for that. I mean, Mike Epps, all these guys, it's great. And he really leans into it. The thing about Eddie is that when he commits to something, he really doesn't have any vanity, right? I mean, there's no vanity to his porn. So if he's like, I'm gonna be this kind of schlumpy middle-aged guy, I'm gonna be schlumpy. I'm gonna poke my stomach out. I'm gonna parade around like I own it. Rudy Ray Moore didn't care, so he don't care. I mean, so not a lot of actors, or not every actor, let me put it that way, is willing to be, vanity free. He don't care. He'll do what's required, so long as it makes you laugh or makes you connect. So that's why Dolomite Is My Name is my third pick.
Great choice. That's in my top 5. Absolutely.
Thank you. All right.
It's a lovely film. Great film, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, my number 4. Look at that picture. I love it. I love that. That was too funny. Number 4 for me is Beverly Hills Cop, the first one.
Oh, okay.
The original Beverly Hills Cop.
That's a worthy distinction.
We have to go back to the 80s. We're staying in the 80s for me, because I've been in the 80s so far this whole list. Axel Foley is a classic character, an iconic character. Here we see Eddie in we've seen him in this before. I chose Beverly Hills Cop because, again, it's Eddie balancing heart with comedy, but this one also shows another side of him that I really like, and that's Eddie when he gets in kind of action hero mode. I like that. He's able to do that as well. Not so much action from like a physical sense where he's like a, martial arts or anything dramatic like that, or Tom Cruise who does all his own stunts, nothing extreme like that, but he's able to just show that he can do kind of the action hero, police, buddy cop type thing. So I love that. I like Eddie in that role. I like Eddie solving a mystery. And it's just, again, it's fun. It's, classic stuff, lines. I have to revisit the Beverly Hills Cop films. I haven't seen all of them back to back in a long time. But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, just a lot of fun. And again, Axel Foley, a classic character, and the soundtrack. Classic soundtrack. So
the Neutron Dance. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, all the reasons you mentioned, true. Banana in the tailpipe, all that classic
All
stuff.
of it. All
All
of
that
it.
classic stuff. And ironically, on my list, actually, and this will be my fourth film, is Beverly Hills Cop 2. I did not have the original on it, although it is
Okay.
a classic. I had Beverly Hills Cop 2 because this one amps up the action. They brought in Tony Scott, R.I.P. you king. Oh, this is a great 80s and 90s action director. Tony Scott directed this one, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Mm-hmm.
And in this time he comes back to, I mean, everything's a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit funnier. He's got his already established relationships with the Beverly Hills police force, and Taggart and was Rosewood, something like that. Yeah, I mean, their whole little troika totally works, and everything's just bigger, faster, a little bit funnier, and it's Tony Scott, so you have all these sun-drenched, hewed out, lens scenes where it just puts California in like this kind of sexy, Dewey's not the right word, but like warm, slightly dangerous thing, because he's going up against these I think an international drug ring or something, and so it's just, I mean, the heat is back on. It's definitely, I mean, you can tell Eddie's having a great time, and I'm not saying that the second film was better than the first, but I mean, it's probably splitting frog hairs, which one's better, but you can tell he's having just as much, if not as much fun, totally leaning into him being a firmly established international movie star at this point. And he's just having the time of his life, and you can feel it. It's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Judge Reinhold. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's a classic 80s actor.
Yeah, Night Court. Love that. So, yeah. Brigitte Nielsen. Look how big that gun is. My Lord. Yeah, so that was a great time. So that was my fourth movie. What is your fifth and final film, Ife?
Well, it was Dolomite Is My Name, but
womp
womp womp. We're gonna go with it's a tie. Can I do a tie, or can I have to pick one?
Cheat if you must.
It's a tie between the Nutty Professor, the first one,
Okay.
and Delirious.
Oh, okay.
And Delirious, same reason as Raw. I mean, just classic, wearing leather, making us laugh. Eddie doing raw stand up, young Eddie, coming off Saturday Night Live, Eddie, just yeah, classic material. And then the Nutty Professor, of course, which combines the heart and the comedy, like I've been saying. But then this one also adds in the characters. This is an extension of the character piece, which we saw in Coming to America a little bit, but the Nutty Professor really takes it to the next level.
Right.
And it just has Eddie's talent on display, and his talent for his character work, and his comedic character work is just excellent. I think he was the first person to really, or the first Black maybe comedian to really do the character work on that level in a film. I know it's been done in other films, I'm sure. I'd have to think about it, but but usually films tend to just have one or two characters. It'd be like one person playing two roles, and you can kind of tell it's them playing. But Eddie took it to a whole other level when he did an entire family.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it. And again, very Black, very funny, very raw. I mean, just that classic signature Eddie humor. So.
And it's funny you keep saying, like, it's very Black, unapologetically Black, so Black. I mean, I never really honestly thought of Eddie Murphy like that. As far as he was always just, I mean, he was always just like one of our best talents, period. But not when you look back, as an adult, because he did a lot of these when we were kids, essentially. I mean, it is astonishing how extremely Black, how extremely. I mean, not even like a raised fist Afrocentric way, but more just like, this is who I am.
American.
This is what I'm about. This is the humanity and totality of who I am, and making the world, and especially white folk, but the world accept him on his own terms.
Yes.
That's, I mean, and especially for the time he was doing it, the 80s, 90s. I mean, he's being so unapologetically Black and successful by mainstream definition of success. It's kind of phenomenal. I mean, it's basically taking the financial and I hate to even admit it, but cultural success of Tyler Perry, because he unapologetically goes to his one niche nonstop. does not veer, or pass go for anyone else really, but applying it, but making it so that it's accessible to everybody. That's essentially what Eddie Murphy did in the 80s, 90s. It's outstanding. It's incredible.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, as I throw in my last movie, I mean, there's so many that we've left off. It's just a shame. I mean, all of them are worthy. I mean, 48 Hours, Trading Places. I mean, all those are great. The last movie though I'm going to throw on there is a little less heralded movie, and it's Life. It's Life.
Oh, Life. Okay, I'm not mad at that.
And Martin Lawrence, Consequences and Repercussions. I mean,
now that I've only seen once, so I don't know it like the back of my hand. Like I don't know it, but.
And to be fair, I don't know it like the back of my hand either. I think I've only seen it 2 or 3 times, but I mean, it's not even really a comedy. Most of these movies, for better or worse, have mostly been comedies or action, or action dramedies, something like that. But this one is more, well, I guess it's really much the definition of a dramedy. It's 2 men who go to jail in the 30s, I think, who just sentenced to life in prison, and they just basically get old, together. And it's kind of sweet, kind of sad, kind of, real, very funny. Another, interesting cast, Bernie Mac. Oh man, R.I.P.
The great Bernie Mac.
I miss Dollar Bill every day. Buckets naked in the nude.
Yeah, the man.
He's in it. I mean, Martin and Eddie, kind of the peak of their powers. A little more so Martin maybe than Eddie. Maybe it's kind of the turning the corner where he's kind of going to a plateau phase, but just great. I mean, it was a summer movie event. I remember seeing it out in LA in summer. Went with a bunch of, I think went with Lawton and them, to go see it. So it was great. But it's just, I mean, it's just sweet seeing these 2 on screen together. Great performances, and and one thing about Eddie Murphy movies is that he will always leave you with something to add to the cultural lexicon. There will be consequences and repercussions. That is the tagline that came from that movie that we still use today. So shout out to you, Eddie. And also, of course, we must at least give passing knowledge to, once again, Trading Places in 48 Hours. Excellent movies in their own right, but easy grabs if you're doing a top 5 non-boomerang Eddie Murphy list.
Yes, true. Trading Places was the last one on my alternative list because Trading Places was just brilliant.
Brilliant. Totally brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. The show without any segue. We are about to go into a short break. For those of you who are listening at home, we are going to take a break to bring you up to speed on how the game DraftStream is played on the CinemaDraft game platform. So we'll be back shortly after this. For those of you watching the video, we'll be back even quicker than that. We'll be back right after this. And we're back in video this time. Welcome back. So, since the over-under has been long mothballed during our times of quarantine, and look, they are really trying to force Tenet and these other movies down our throats in the theaters. Not going to do it. Going to stay healthy. We are going to do our quarantine movie of the week instead. Last week's quarantine movie of the week was The Social Network, as it's still pinned to our profile. It wasn't supposed to be pinned to our profile. It was our one of the week last week. There it is. Welcome to Facebook. Anyways, this week's quarantine movie of the week will be Crazy Rich Asians. Are you familiar with Crazy Rich Asians, Ife?
Oh yes, I didn't read the book, but I enjoyed the film.
Yeah, I liked it. It was nice, diverting, perfect August movie. Loved seeing Asians centered in all their rich bougie splendor. It was great. Basic premise: Henry Golding's character brings Constant Wu's American-born girlfriend back home with him to Singapore, and to introduce her to his family, and for his best friend's wedding. And it is a very crazy rich wedding and a crazy rich Asian family. Really well cast. I liked seeing a lot of performers I'd seen kind of scattered in TV and movies, usually in like really whack supporting roles. Get a little bit of shine. It was great. So shout out to them. Gemma Chan, love seeing her. Shout out to her. Seen her in a lot of stuff, and of course Awkwafina. Yeah.
I don't like that name, Awkwafina.
Yeah,
she's funny though. She's funny.
No, she's fun. She's a talented performer. Have you ever seen Aquafina? Was there? She has a show
Yeah, I
called.
heard about the show. I've never seen it.
That was great. The Draft Mom loves that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a nice little half hour. It has like a crazy gangster grandma lady type. It's a little absurdist. It's a lot of fun. You can. It's nice checking it out if you like Aquafina at all. So so this is Crazy Rich Asians. Make sure you tweet me your tweet length review at Play CinemaDraft and tell me what y'all think. All right. Now it is time for, you know what? I did not present any of that, did I? Wow. Okay, so let me present my screen this time. All that talking, none of those visuals. All right, so let me just run it back real quick. Thought I was sharing my screen the entire time. That is my bad. Yes, Crazy Rich Asians. It looks a little something like this.
And again, another example of just showing this part of Singapore. I think it's just set in Singapore, if I recall, showing how beautiful they looked and how glamorous they looked and their class divisions and their, cultural. It was just cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I like any movie, honestly, that takes you inside a world I'm not normally privy to. So I haven't been to Asia. Honestly, I haven't been anywhere. I want to go everywhere. I like to think I'm a citizen of the world. I haven't been anywhere. And Asia's definitely on the list. Singapore, especially after our mutual friend Kibi, she lived out there, I believe. It's always been on my list. And it was just really cool to get like a great, giant, Chamber of Commerce tourism travelogue to Singapore, as well as a peek inside these crazy rich Asian lives. Is awesome. So sorry about not presenting it earlier, y'all. This is what it looks like. Once again, tweet us your tweet length review at Play CinemaDraft on Twitter. And let us now go on to our DraftStream update. Dun, 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 dun. I guess I need some other music for that. So this week, it's a return to form. Gamble 24x7, G24, the homie, taking the top 2 money spots, sweeping the $50 prize pool between first and second. He did it on the back of All In, the Fight for Democracy. That is Stacey Abrams, voter, kind of half biopic, half voter history guide, whatever. And it was decent. Like, it started off really hot. I think it started off at like 110-ish points at Thursday game lock. And then it kind of, I wouldn't say cratered, but it definitely cooled off down to about 98 where it finished out. He stacked up big on All In Fight for Democracy, had a nice little optimal stack. And since you're new around these parts, Ife, an optimal stack is when you get 2 headliners, a co-star, and a day player of what you think the optimal film will be. So he got himself an optimal stack of All In Fight for Democracy, and then he went straight headliners on the way out. Baby, Departure, headliner stack from Penn, 15, expensive but worth it. Helped usher him on to victory. And then he got decent value here at Residue. Only 7,500, got him 122.71 points. Well done, Gamble 24x7. His second call sheet, more the same, just kind of switched out, I believe, one title for another. Yeah, we are who we are at the end, kind of switched that out. Sacrificed one Penn 15 actor by Maya Erskine, got rid of Maya Erskine, got him a little more extra buying power, got him, Alice Pagani and Benedetta on Baby, got himself an extra Baby headliner and played it like that. Got oh so close as well to sweeping the low ball. And in the low ball in this game, Ife, we basically have concurrent tournament running. We have people who are generally going for the main prize, $35 for first, $15 for second. Then we also have a $10 low ball contest where if you meet certain criteria and you get the lowest score possible, we'll give you $10 in bonus. And the way you do the low ball is that you must have, standard call sheet rules, must have at least one headliner, co-star, and day player. You must have at least one actor from 3 different titles, and you must spend at least $75,000 in your budget, and that qualifies your call sheet for a low ball bonus. So shout out to Ring Balls, last week's CinemaDraft podcast guest. He's getting his mojo back. Used to be king of the low, and he's now limboed his way down to take the $10 low ball bonus. Well played, sir. He did it on the backs of The Last Word. Nice little 4-pack there. A 3-pack of Cats and Paws, which does look truly dreadful. And a 3 day player stack of Antebellum, Unjust. That movie's good, damn it. It's not.
Is it? I just listened to the NPR pop culture podcast, and they ripped it to shreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the host of it? Is it us or white people?
I can't remember. It's a mix. It's a mix. It's all women. I think it was like 2 black women that week and then 1 white woman. But they were just briefly, really quickly, they were just saying that they felt like a lot of the violence in it or some of the things in it weren't really grounded, and it didn't. I don't know. I have to listen to it again, but they didn't love it.
Actually, let me go back and break. Well, I will say this. I won't say I loved it, but I respected what it did. I'd give it a 7. Yeah, 6 out of 7. And here's the thing about
where did you watch it? On Prime Video?
Sure. And so yeah, so Antebellum, basically, so the conceit behind that, you get what I'm saying, right? The conceit behind that is that the first half hour is rough. I knew kind of going in, I'd need to spend some of my Black Misery credits. You know, it's in the title, Antebellum. I get it, but it was rough. That first half hour is rough. You don't know what's going on, and especially if you've seen the trailer, you're like, all right, when's this thing going to turn? And then the second half hour is confusing, which makes that first whole hour a little bit of a chore because you're kind of like, I don't see how these two things connect. You don't get where it gets. And then there's one very pivotal scene that turns everything on its head, and you're like, oh, I get what they did. That's kind of brilliant. And that's the plot twist. Through.
Is that the plot twist they're talking about it being an amusement park? Or a theme park?
Let's not spoil it for people.
I'm sorry. No spoilers. Sorry.
Well, it sounds like they spoiled it for you, which is kind of fucked up. So
anyway, they warned us. They were like, "There's a spoiler," but I don't really care.
Everybody listening, watching, delete that footage. R.I.P. Chadwick. Delete that footage. Go in as blind as possible because it makes that twist all the more worth it in the final 45 minutes sail on by. And I really liked the twist of what they did because I've actually long thought about doing something conceptually like what they did. Definitely not the same structure. The structure of it is challenging. It's asking audiences, especially at home. If you saw this in the theater, it totally plays well because you're trapped. You're trapped there for 2 hours. You're gonna plow through most people. But if you're at home and you have like myself a half-hour rule, a 30-minute rule, you could get rid of a movie pretty damn quick. So
right.
I was determined to stick it out though. I wanted to see where it was going. I'm glad I did. It's not the best film, but I respect what it was doing. And the concept alone is something I'd wrestled with trying to do before. Couldn't find a good way in. I think this is a good way in, but the structure a little bit challenging for watching at home.
Okay.
So Antebellum. So on that raft of mixed reviews, and as you can see here in Antebellum, it started off 28 from Rotten Tomatoes critics. That's just harsh. 69 from Google users, 44 from Metacritics. They're haters. They hate everything. But then only, a so-so 5.5 from IMDb user scores. And of course, in this game, the user scores are all that matter, weighted 60% over the critic scores. So if you're good with the audiences, you're basically good in this game. So this is just below a default score of 69.50, and that's why it ended up on the lowball call sheet. Well, that's in the past. Let's leave the past in the past. Let's go to, and I did not have it up. Great. Oh, here it is. Let's go to this week's talent pool. We have expanded stakes, and expanded stakes call for an expanded talent pool. We are upping the prize money to $100 prize pool this week, $50 to first, $25 to second, $10 to third, and now a $15 lowball bonus. Oh, but Edwardo, why is the lowball bonus more than third place? Well, you got a decision to make. Either go for the gusto or go for the low. I want you to make a business decision. Do I want to go low or do I want to go high? Now, every week you're allowed to do up to 3 call sheets, so go for both. Why don't you? All right? So we'll see how this changes the gameplay at all, knowing that there's added stakes at stake and also an expanded 25 title, unprecedented 25 title talent pool. And I already hear the draft mom crying in her beer. But yes, we are going big because we're going big and we're staying home. A lot of good stuff in this week. The returning animation domination Sunday block on Fox is back. Bob's Burgers, Bless the Hearts, the 32nd season of The Simpsons, and the 19th season of Family Guy. All up for grabs this
19.
week.
Jeez.
19th, Family Guy. Yeah. I've got some thoughts on that show. Also some indie ones coming out. She's in Portland, might be kind of interesting. Support the Pacific Northwest. Tehran looks excellent. I keep seeing ads for that. Have you seen any ads or marketing
No.
for Tehran?
No.
Yeah,
What's that about?
woman spy in the Mideast. I think she's a Mossad agent undercover in a Muslim country. So in Tehran, in Tehran, she's a Mossad agent undercover in Tehran. So that sounds like hot. And it's Apple TV Plus. One thing you'll learn from our game, and actually, if you go onto any of our previous master call sheets, you can go into the scoring section and the master score list right here, and you can see every single score. We've got a nice data set of about, oh no, we're up to about 300 now. About 300 plus titles we've rostered in the CinemaDraft Games talent pool. You can sort it. You can sort it by platform. You can sort it by genre. You can sort it by date. And I like to do a bunch of stuff. I like to do like a bunch of average. Like, for example, when I say Apple TV Plus is quality, I'm not lying. Real quick, you can do an average and just find all the Apple TV Plus scores right here, drag down, end your parentheses, enter, and you'll see that on average, 95.65. I'd gather it's probably the highest of any platform that's been exposed to the CinemaDraft DraftStream game so far. So Apple TV Plus stands for quality. That's why Tehran is priced up at a whopping 16,000, I believe, for old girl Tehran. QRST. There she is. Sean Taub, Tube, 16,100. Veteran character actor. Niv Sultan, the ostensible lead, 16,000 for her as a headliner Tehran. So almost a fifth of our $100,000 budget might be willing to be spent on Tehran. I think it's going to do gangbuster numbers, like at least 111 to 115. 120 is probably out of the picture, but 16,000 might be a little pricey, but might be worth it. The Comey Rule, early reviews are no bueno. So I'm going to watch it regardless because I'm a political junkie. Are you going to watch the Comey Rule, Ife?
What is this? I'm not familiar with this either.
It's a 2-night miniseries based off of Jim Comey's book.
Oh, it's on Showtime. That's why I don't really get into Showtime.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna check it out because I love this stuff. We've got Showtime. I support Showtime. So
who's that playing Trump?
Brendan Gleeson. Yeah. And from the trailers I've seen, he really nails the voice. So I'm actually looking forward to this. And I think it's also going to drive Trump batshit crazy. Look for some really crazy, mean tweets Sunday night coming out of the White House. Straight up.
No, nothing new there.
You know, so that looks interesting. I started watching the playbook. This is basically getting a bunch of coaches on record about not only just their coaching style, but like their philosophy towards life. I saw the Don Staley one. That was good. I'm in the middle of Doc Rivers one. That's not bad either. So yeah, it's decent. I just don't think it's going to do the numbers we hope it could. Although sports documentary-ish type shows have done well for Netflix. So I might keep my eye on this. We'll see what it looks like come Thursday afternoon, which is when I start to make my call sheets. You want to always have the latest reporting time possible, so you get all the information possible at the time you're ready to submit a call sheet. And Utopia, a little bit of buzz on this coming to Prime Video. Cusack, Rainn Wilson, Jessica Roth. I love Jessica Roth. Have you seen a Happy Death Day? There's Happy Death Day and there's like Happy Death Day 2 or something. Low rent horror films. I don't really do horror, but they did this in a very clever fashion from Blumhouse, the guys who put Jordan Peele on. So so she's from that. Utopia looks kind of interesting. That might get a little star appeal from the critics. So yeah, so 25 Agents of Chaos. This shit drops tonight, I believe. I think this might be coming on HBO Max tonight. And this is another Alex Gibney documentary. Are you familiar with Alex Gibney?
No.
This cat, Gibney, is a beast, man. He did the series Dirty Money on Netflix. Both seasons, excellent. He also did. Where's Gibney? They don't show his. All right. Well, this is him. Alex Gibney. He's done a bunch of really this excellent political-ish documentaries of late. What was it? How to Fix a Drug Scandal. I did not see that one. Yeah, Dirty Money. Those last 2 seasons. Oh, he did a hip hop one. Okay, look at you, Alex. What else? Enemies, The Clinton Affair, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Oh wow, he's got a Netflix deal. He's had a Netflix deal for a while now. So I saw that on the platform, didn't quite check it out. Looming Tower, The Last Shot. Anyways, he's very very acclaimed documentarian. Killing Season. Yeah, it's been around for days, and when he goes in on something, he goes all in. So I'm very much looking forward to Agents of Chaos, probably dropping late tonight on HBO. Or if they're going to roll an actual HBO rollout, it'll probably debut sometime tomorrow night on HBO and HBO Max. So those are the ones I'm kind of looking out for this week. Everybody, once again, make sure you get your call sheets in by 6 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday. You're allowed up to three call sheets. And go for that money, y'all. Go for that money. Once again, $15 to the low ball, $50 the first, $25 the second. And the first time we are paying a third place spot $10. $10 make you holler. All right. So get it in on time. All right, Ife Thomas, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for elevating the CinemaDraft pod with your presence.
You're welcome.
All these weeks of wooing you to join the team may probably be working out. Don't want to jinx until you're on the dotted line, but glad to have you on the podcast regardless. Grateful for you joining the CinemaDraft team. This is the time I always ask my guests, if you have something to plug, go ahead and plug yo ish.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This was a blast, and for the record, Boomerang's greatest movie ever. Okay, plug. So you can follow me. Well, I'll tell you where you can find me. You can find me.
Get Her Glow.
I want to plug my beauty and wellness brand for women, which is called Her Glow. And you can follow us on Instagram at Get Her Glow. The website is getherglow.com. All things inner and outer beauty for women, everything from makeup and skincare to wellness and workshops and just everything. Really cool stuff. And that's the main thing there. And we're on Twitter at Get Her Glow and on Facebook at Get Her Glow. Everything is Get Her Glow. So check me out there. And everybody watch Lovecraft Country. It's so good. And we didn't talk about the fact that my beloved Schitt's Creek season 6 is finally coming to Netflix in the state for those of us to watch next October 7th.
Oh, the record-setting, Emmy award-winning Schitt's Creek.
That's right. Which I absolutely love and adore. And have been debating if I should just buy the final season on Amazon, but then I read yesterday it's coming to Netflix October 7th. So for those of you that are Schitt's Creek fans, woo, it's coming.
For all you Ife siding love countryans, it will dismay you to note that I just couldn't get into Schitt's Creek. I watched 4 episodes. I've tried to get in twice. God. I'm sure it's great. I could see... Right, and at least I heard that it gets better after the first season, but right now those first 4 episodes, it's a one joke show, and I'm struggling.
You're struggling. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, EJ. I'm very disturbed. I'm just disturbed.
What a great way to end. What a great note to end this podcast on. I love it. Well, anyways, love you, Ife. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We have to have you back again, whether you're on the team or not, but you will be. So never mind that. And let's play us out with some epic battle music. Yes, we'll be back next week with another.
Thank you for having me. Strong J, girl.
Strong J. It's you, girl. It's you, girl. We'll be back
girl.
with another great guest on the CinemaDraft podcast, another great top 5 to mull over and discuss. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing the game. We'll see you all next week.